Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of our podcast. Today I'm with Mr. Alexander Strate. There we go.
There we go. Love that.
Super excited to have you on today. You're in town, so we figured might as well do some content. So those of you, if you're not familiar with Alex has been in the industry for a couple years, selling at a high level, building at a high level. And he is an executive vice president with FFO Fire, going board member very, very soon. Protecting about 750 families a month currently, and you've been licensed for 4 years?
Just about 4 years, yeah.
Awesome, cool. So we want to do something different today, guys, and basically Alex has been doing this for a while. He has a lot of knowledge in the industry and kind of the ins and outs of different companies, different compensation plans, different leads. I think before you even were creating some leads.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. So I just wanted to have you on today to basically kind of go through all that kind of stuff, and we're going to call this things you wish you knew when you got started, you got your life insurance license. So for anyone out there that is basically just getting licensed, just getting started, or maybe you've been licensed for a little bit, just kind of a refresher and to get back on the hump and refresh your business, this is going to be a great episode. So Alex, let's just kind of start off with a quick intro, why you wanted to get into insurance, kind of your path to get here, and then we'll kind of just go through those different things.
Yeah, for sure. I started entrepreneurship when I was 17 years old, and kind of always had this vision of being a business owner and wanting to eventually build up to have the kind of dream lifestyle that you want, where there's not as many restrictions in your day-to-day life. And I tried a lot of different things, like to call myself a wantrepreneur, right? Trying to want to get to that point.
Sure.
And I've done drop shipping, I've done digital marketing, crypto, forex, right? You name it, I've probably tried it. And it wasn't until I got into insurance I finally found something that stuck. So I was doing digital marketing, I was making good money, but there was no purpose behind it, there was no passion behind it, and I saw insurance as a vehicle to be able to really make a difference in people's lives,
Sure,
as well as create that kind of dream lifestyle that you're looking for moving forward. So I've been doing this now, like you said, almost 4 years. Started off captive at my practice company, and great people, learned a lot, but realized that model wasn't for me. And that's when I made the switch to go independent, and I've been independent now for a little bit over 3 years.
very nice, cool. So you started out, a lot of people when they start out, they want to know like everything. So I think we were just talking earlier, I was looking at my phone. I've been licensed now on the dot today for 5 years. Got my license 5 years ago.
Let's go, bro.
And I'm just like thinking back about, one, how fast it's gone, but two, like how long ago that seems like. And we're always learning and adapting and getting better every day. But I'm just thinking, like, when I started out to getting to what I know now, and the things and the clients and how all the struggles and success and everything, like, it's just crazy to think about. When you started, obviously you didn't know everything. Were you a kind of guy that had success right off the bat quickly, or did it take you a while, or how did that go?
I mean, success is relative, My first week, I protected 6 families at my practice company, but kind of fizzled out after that. And there's some, we can go into detail about different business models, but a little bit of success, not a lot up front. One thing that I wish I knew when I started is how hard the first year is. You always hear, be here a year from now and things like that. I don't think that's more true in any industry other than insurance the most, because the way most compensation models work is when you write the policy, you get a large chunk of your commission up front, and then you get the remainder of your commission towards the end of the year, like months 10, 11, 12. You're on a 75% advance.
Right.
And then there's also the renewals and trailing commission after year 1. So many people, when you're brand new to an industry, you're raw and you're still trying to figure out your way, they quit in those first 9 months or in those first 12 months, and they're missing out on 25, 30, 35% of their commissions that they've already earned from the work they've done.
Right.
But they quit on themselves and they don't get that. So
right.
It's crucial to realize that everything you're getting paid your first 9 months, that's not your full commission. You got even more coming if you can just grind it out and find a way to get through that first 9 to 12 months.
Sure. And I think a lot of people come into the business because they want to make money, they want to have business ownership, they want to control their time, and I think they want to help people as well. But a lot of people, almost everyone probably, they probably come from, for me at least, it was from an employee background, the only work history was, as an employee. And so I think realizing that, like, the way it works, you're not just going to basically stay at the same every single year. So like year one, you may be here, but because we were talking about with renewals and back-end commission and just getting better, the next year you're going to be here. Then after that, you're going to be here. And it's like a continuous buildup of your skills and income and all that kind of stuff. It's not just a linear thing. You're always, increasing.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, my first full year in insurance, I protected just over 100 families. So it's an average of one family every 3.5, 4 days. But my second year in insurance, I protected a little bit over 300. So 3 times as much. And that's just like you said, the skill set getting better, finding your rhythm, the consistency, having some of that back end commission come in. It makes it a lot easier to stay in business if you could just get through that first 9 to 12 months. And also having access to leads allows you to have some of that consistency as well. There's a lot of business models out there, but I think that if you don't have access to leads, there's no way to have a consistent long-term success without access to leads. You can work warm marketing referrals, and that's great. And you can get on long referral trains. It's absolutely true, but it's not proprietary.
Sure.
Anyone can do that in any business model, but finding a business model that also gives you those access to leads where that you can have 100, 200, 300 people at the click of a button that filled out a form asking for insurance gives you the confidence in knowing that as your skills grow, you're going to start converting more and more and more, and your income's going to increase.
Right. And that's with any business, whether you want to open an insurance agency or a real estate company or a mortgage company, or you want to fix drains and pipes and landscape, whatever it is, you have to have leads.
Absolutely.
Leads equal customers, customers equal revenue. And so it doesn't matter whatever you're in, you have to have leads. So the first one you hit on was basically be here a year from now.
Yep.
Second one was leads. And something else with leads is if you want to be a personal producer and just sell, then obviously you need leads for sure. But if you want to build an organization and a team, you really need leads.
Yeah.
And you need leads, anywhere and everywhere, because when you hire people, they may not live in your home state or your home city. They may live across the border, not across the border, but across the map and be right. in New York City and Washington and Florida and California and everywhere across the U.S. And so that is very, very important. If you don't have leads, you're out of business.
And not only leads, but also having good mentorship, right? If you're brand new in business, find someone that's having the kind of success that you want and do everything they're doing. So if you want to build a business to, 750 families a month, I can show you how to do that because I'm doing that. So if someone came to me and said, Alex, I want to grow my business, what should I do? I would hope that they would listen to what I say. And when I was brand new, I did the same thing. Hey, I want to get to the point where I'm protecting 20 families a month. What do I got to do that, right? Hey, I want to get to the point where I can help others do the same thing. What's the best way to coach people? How do I make sure they have success, right? How do I make sure they have high compensation? How do I make sure that they know how to work leads, get access to leads, et cetera? So that coachability factor and finding a good mentor that's already where you want to be, not just someone that, yesteryear was doing the stuff and
sure.
they're just handing out personal development books and things like that, but actively selling, actively building, working it day in and day out. That's crucial to your long-term success in this industry.
Yeah, it's super important. I know for me, I got blessed with an amazing mentor that was sold for years, still was selling, managing, that kind of thing. Super grateful for him. And I think that definitely fast-tracked my success, because if I didn't have that and that example, then I wouldn't have got going as fast, I think, as I did and I could have, just because it would have been me trying to figure it out, just like anything, whether you're trying to, lift weights and get in good shape, or sports, or whatever the case is. There's an old adage, and I'm sure you know it, but it's if you do what people do and you say what they say, you'll get what they have every single time. And that's super important. So mentor, that's the third one. What's
mentor would be the third one. Next one I would say is having access to a variety of products. A lot of people get into the industry and they don't know what they don't know, right? So they're with a company and the company talks about how amazing their products are. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of good companies, a lot of good products out there. But what I believe is even more important than one specific company or one specific product is having a variety to choose from, so I can custom build solutions for my clients instead of shoving everyone into one or two or three products, because that's all I have access to. Being a broker where you can have access to 10, 15, 20 companies and each of their 3, 4, 5, 6 top products there's no way you can't find the best solution for your client. And that's also going to mean less replacement. You know, if a lot of people, they start off strong, their first 3-4 months, they're out there selling a lot, but then you fast forward and the chargebacks start coming. You know, they start getting 30, 40, 50% charging back just because their products aren't competitive. The next agent comes in that is a broker, and they're able to get them a better product at a better price point with more benefits. And, you know, just a logical transaction is to make sure you put your money in best place as a client, and they cancel one policy for something else. So having access to those competitive products allows you to not only do what's best for your client, but it's going to save your own pocket when you can keep your chargebacks under 15% because you know you're actually working with the best products because you have a wide variety to choose from.
Sure. Yeah, that was like me. When I first started, I had like 3 or 4 different products, and then making the transition to a broker, I'm like, oh my gosh, with my life license, like if you have your life insurance license, you can sell a bunch of term products, you can sell a bunch of whole life products, you can sell a bunch of IULs, you can sell a bunch of annuities, you can sell a bunch of accidental death, you can sell a lot of stuff, and even products that I didn't even know existed. So obviously you have whole life, and that can be for any age. If they're healthy, it always should be immediate, shouldn't be a graded policy. But the thing that I didn't know that I personally have now, and I'm sure you have one too, is a cashback term. Yeah. So basically the old school model of 30-year term, you pay for it for 30 years. If nothing happens, basically you don't die in those 30 years. It just kind of goes away. I always tell people it's like car insurance. If you don't get in a car crash, like you need to have it, and it feels good to pay it and know it's there. But if nothing happens, you basically just wasting your money. Well, with these cashback products, if a lot of them have living benefits too, so you have like a heart attack, stroke, cancer, things of that nature, you can actually get all the money or most of it up front. But the best thing about it, especially for younger people, is like in the next 20, 30 years, I don't plan to pass away. I don't know about you, but I'm sure it's the same.
Same.
Nothing happened in those 20, 25, 30 years. Every single premium you paid into it. So let's just do some math here. Just if people are, they don't know what we're talking about. $100 a month, say you're paying, times 12 months is $1,200. Okay. 1,200 times 30 years be $36,000. Okay. So basically, if a young person got a policy and say it was right around that price, nothing happens in those 30 years. Well, they didn't waste their money. They're going to get a check basically at the end of the term because it's a cashback term with all the money back. And when I found out about that, I'm like, who wouldn't want this? It just makes so much sense.
It's like a forced savings account, you know, and especially for, young people and with inflation and everything we've lived through right now, it's like, we don't know what the world's going to hold. And we see so many people in their 40s, 50s, 60s that should have been saving more for times just like what's going on right now. Yep. And we have an opportunity to not only do that with that insurance product, but be protected in the meantime. So if something happens, living benefits, cancer, heart attack, stroke, permanent disability, or death, then your family's taken care of. And if nothing happens, which is the most likely scenario, then you set yourself up for retirement in 20, 25, 30 years. I didn't know that existed, like you said earlier, and so having access to things like that, when you have just a regular term policy that pays out only for death, and once it expires, oh well, and then you come in with something like that, I mean, why would you pay for something if you're not going to use it? It's a 10 out of 10, you're going to find that the client appreciates a product like that more. Sure. So it's good. I have a checklist here. I want to make sure I hit on that. Simplified issue. That's a good one. So when I started in this industry, I didn't know the different kinds of products, but not just the types of products, the underwriting for products. A lot of people think that you could just sign up for life insurance, and it doesn't work that way. And, working in the simplified issue life insurance space is not only best for the clients, but it's best for us as producers as well, because you get to skip the peeing in a cup, manually pulling all the doctor's records, the jabs with the needles for blood work. Yeah. You get to skip all that old school stuff from the 80s and 90s. And with the technology and the access to the technology we have, these carriers are able to have 7-minute, 10-minute online electronic applications that you get a decision right there on the spot with your client.
It's crazy.
So you're in and out the door in 45 minutes, policy approved, no blood work, no physical, paid 2 days later. How is that not best for the client and best for you as a producer? Right. So having access to simplified issue products is an absolute game changer.
It absolutely is. It kind of removes some of the guesswork and the what ifs and any type of like modifications or anything like that. And you're exactly right. It's good for the client because we've dealt with a lot of clients. A lot of them don't want to wait a month or 2 months or even weeks. They want the coverage now. And the other thing is, like, what if something happens when it's going through underwriting? What if it takes a month and something happens? Well, it's not going to pay out the claim. For the producer, it's amazing because you go do your job, you go meet them at their house, or you call them over the phone or Zoom or whatever system you're running, and you get them approved on the spot. They're approved, and you're basically at that point, you're done. They have questions, they'll call you, but you don't have to have any more, forms or doctor records or anything like that signed. Like we just got it done. It's done. Now let's go serve the next client. And I think clients really appreciate that. It's just so easy.
It is. Yeah. It's how many people have, and this was at, my practice company, right? But how many people did you sit with at your practice company that wanted the insurance? They needed the insurance, but because the underwriting took 4, 6, 8 weeks, ended up not moving forward with the policy, right? Yep. And that's one less family protected. And, if the goal is to put people first, why would you not want to make sure that you're able to actually get them protected instead of just, submitting something that's not going to actually go through? Sure. So that's huge. And I'd say the last thing, the last, tip to make sure that when you're getting started is put a little bit aside for taxes. We are 1099. And if you are coming from an employee to W-2 world to a 1099 world, in the W-2 world, you do have taxes withheld, meaning that at the end of the year, you typically either don't owe taxes or you get a refund. And in the insurance space, we get access to all of our money as a business owner up front. And so you need to put a little bit aside for chargebacks because they do happen. Yep. You're going to have 15, 20% chargeback. Your first year, maybe even 20, 25%.
Sure. And
then as you kind of hone it in and get better, build more value, get that under 15% for chargebacks, meaning if you deposit $10,000, $1,500 is going to go to chargebacks. And then you also got to put aside the money for taxes because as you start to earn a lot of money and as your income increases, so does your tax brackets. And you get the tax write-off benefits, which is nice.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, there probably is going to be some money owed for taxes. And if you go spend it all and you're not wise with your money, you're going to be a year in business and you're going to be saying, oh, shoot, I messed up. So sure. That's just something that, everything you put aside, everything that you make is not yours to keep. And I think that especially early in business, that's why having high compensation matters because you got to put aside money for taxes. You got to put aside money for chargebacks. And if you have a low compensation, if you're under 100% compensation, there's just not enough money left over to run your business. So having access to the high compensation allows you to be a responsible business owner.
Yep. Well, there's some great tips you gave. Hopefully you guys found some value in that. And I'll just kind of circle it back around. I think all those kind of correlate to if you do want to get your insurance license and you do want to start the career, or maybe you're at a company and you want to look and see what else is out there, do your research. Me, I was really young when I started, and it was kind of like the company found me, and I thought it was like the residual income and helping people and income potential, all that was great, but I didn't really do my research, and I didn't really see the whole the whole industry and what they had to offer and the different companies and products and compensation and all that kind of stuff. So I would say all this kind of just falls under do your research. Look up a bunch of companies. If they don't show you their compensation plan or it's like hidden or their training's hidden, I would run. It's a little bit weird. I would just look for everything to be out there. Do your research, talk to people, reach out, and then basically make your decision based on those facts. And those key points you gave us are extremely important to know and be cognizant of. So.
Absolutely. So cool. Appreciate having me on today, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.